Ichigo Ichie. One chance in a lifetime. Hello everybody, my name is Kanariya Eishi and welcome to the very first episode of Japanese Street Wisdom. In this podcast, I'll be introducing and exploring some Japanese wisdom from the past so that we can learn from it to make our present and future better. So that's basically the concept of the show. I was inspired to share the knowledge of my ancestors, not like my own ancestors, but Japanese people in the past, because the COVID crisis has really highlighted what matters in our lives. And I found myself learning from their wisdom to deal with what we as humans are going through right now. Their knowledge and wisdom are even more relevant now. The title, Japanese Street Wisdom, well, it kind of sounds like I'm going to be talking about Yakuza or Japanese Mafia or something. Eishi-san, I will have to kill you. So that was my impersonation of my Kiwi friend impersonating a Yakuza. But anyway, that's really meta. I have slightly strange sense of humor, but I hope you don't mind with that. But this show has nothing to do with the Yakuza or homies, even though I can't 100% guarantee that I will not be talking about them. Come to think of it, there's a really important Yakuza in the past. In the past, the Yakuza were not necessarily bad, not always bad, but they committed crimes, but some of them are actually good people as well. And in fact, Shimizu no Jirocho, he was one of the very important figures in modernization of Japan, so there was good Yakuza in the past, but maybe I can talk about Yakuza sometime. As this is the very first episode, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit before beginning our journey, so that you know who the heck I am and where I'm coming from. I was born and raised in Japan, but I moved to America when I was a teenager, when I was 19, to study at the university. I majored in theater art. That's a really useful degree. Useless. But I studied it for 5 years, because it took extra year for me to finish it. But anyway, in my last year at the university, I met this gorgeous lady from New Zealand, and I somehow ended up here in New Zealand. That was the only reason why I moved here. I had never come here before meeting her, so she basically brought me back here. So I was like her souvenir to New Zealand. Lucky you, New Zealand. Well, thank you so much, New Zealand, for hosting me. I am a Rakugo performer based here in New Zealand. Rakugo is a Japanese traditional art of comedic storytelling with a history of 400 years. I am specialized in performing this art form in the English language, just like my master Kanariya based in Tokyo, Japan. I learn and perform this art form full-time. Oh, that's a gamble, really. And I run workshops for various organizations, especially for high schools in New Zealand at the moment. And I am very much aware that it is a crazy idea to dedicate your life to a traditional art of your homeland while living overseas. But you can perhaps see my passion and dedication to this art. Anyway, I learned a lot about life through pursuing Rakugo and other Japanese literature, philosophy, such as Zen and minimalism and mindfulness, that's kind of Zen, and Wa, or the spirit of peace. This podcast is a place for me to mainly share my learnings with you from my practice as a Rakugo performer. But the source of wisdom I will be discussing here will not only be limited to Rakugo, but from other Japanese culture as well. Yes, Rakugo is a form of comedy, and I have performed stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, improv, clowning. I've spent pretty much half my life performing different forms of comedy, but I will not be focusing on trying to be funny here because cheap laughs might lose the essence of what I want to share with you here. Today's concept is Ichigo Ichie. It literally means one chance in a lifetime. I use this phrase. I introduce this phrase with my audience members when I perform because it summarizes the essence of why I became a performer. One chance in a lifetime. Well, it might not mean much to you, but what it really means is that every single encounter or every single meeting with a new person only takes place once in your lifetime. So you need to take it as such. You listening to this podcast for the very first time in your life will never, ever repeat. This very moment of you hearing my voice, that is a privilege for me. And this feeling of connection between you and I will never, ever repeat again. As you listen to this, what I just said has already become the thing of the past. Human relationships are just like that. That's why we need to interact with others as if it was the last time to see them. Who knows, it could be the last time. To make our life shine together, we need to take every meeting with other humans as if it was the last time to see them. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Japanese Street Wisdom. My episodes will probably be like this one, and I will do my best to post it regularly as much as possible. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family, as I have a burning desire to share the wisdom of my ancestors with you, to hopefully help you deal with the current situation we are all facing right now, as it has helped me greatly so far. Thank you again for listening. See you next time.